Gold, he's now vengeful, right? Amejam na Rambo, yani amemchapa
bana.
So I think he's crazy. Or any war.
Vietnam was the most hated war. It was the most politically hated war in America. And I think it had 3 presidents.
Yes, people, welcome once again to Action 254. I'm Ben Muvaka, and behind the camera, as usual, is the Darkman himself.
Kabisa, man.
Yeah, now you know his complexion. Junimawambia.
Mtaniona tu.
So yeah, today we are doing a movie. Last time we did a TV show, Barry. Today we are going to be doing a movie, another iconic movie from the 80s, and I think it is one of, if not the one that influenced the action genre. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, ni fiti. Hata siunangi sana ikiwa hata action sana. Sijui mbona unaonanga hii First Blood ikiwa thriller.
Ni thriller, pia ni drama.
Ni drama thriller.
Yeah. So the movie is First Blood, the very first movie in the Rambo franchise. It stars Sylvester Stallone as John Rambo, Richard Kenner as Colonel Sam Trotman, and Brian Dennehy as Sheriff William Teasle.
What in the late size?
Except Stallone, obviously.
Stallone,
but then he just turned 80 this year. This month, actually.
The oldest man, so you list here too old. Hollywood sasa.
And still going strong. A tough dude.
Bana.
Yeah, so the movie was released 22nd October 1982, directed by Ted Kotcheff, with writing from Michael Kozel, William Sackham, and Stallone himself, based on the 1972 novel First Blood by David Morrell. So the story follows John Rambo, a Vietnam War veteran who, after entering a small town, clashes with the police, attempts to fight in order to escape a manhunt, fights them off, and it turns into a manhunt, and uses his expertise in survival and combat tactics to fight off these police, the local police in this town. So the film received mixed critical reception upon release, but it was a commercial success, earning 125 million at the box office against a budget of 15 to 18 million. Became the 13th highest grossing movie of 1982 domestically, that is within the US, and then 7th highest grossing movie worldwide. Now, let's talk about briefly talk about the critical reception, right? How people see this movie, especially critics. Jana, I believe tulikuwa nasikia this guy called Sagini akisema about ati there's this perception that when a movie starring like recognizable faces, that it will automatically be received well. Unfortunately, Kenya hakuna critics, watu like wa ku review movies ndio waseme hii movie ni kali, it deserves awards.
But bado tuna industry. Bado kuna mtu ametoa movie akauza even imefikisha hata even 5 akuza ka 5 million streams, yani kwa na madownload shit kayo bado.
Yeah, so
but tutafika.
So I think the mistake people believe is that hii kona sijui Brenda Wairimu, sijui kona Sal Hassan, sijui kona into the actor kina Alusa hivyo.
Ni hesabu mbaya. Most of producers wengi wakwangi businessmen.
Because I think there's a system of yani checking out what is good and what is not, right? If it is not good, obviously it should not be showered with awards when it really does not deserve them.
After the saddest thing,
Mm.
ama actors wetu
Mm.
wengi hawana that strong internet follow up. Wengi wajajiweka online.
Yeah.
So ukisema unachukua ama recognizable face, kuna reason utalose. Bora tu chukua ama utengeneze comedy movie, chukua ama comedian. Ama comedian wanafuatwa na wasee wengi sana.
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah. So now with this film, when they say it had a mixed reception, it means that it was not exactly positive to some critics, and there was a bunch of people who had reviewed it on the negative side. But over time, I think watu wame retroactively wame change their opinion of the film, and they have given it a more positive reception. Of which Mimi, I think the first time I saw this movie, I thought it was a good movie.
It was a good movie. I saw it when I was a kid. Hizo my 90s, 93 huko.
In fact, hata vile umesema, right? Hii movie equal exactly action. It is focusing more on the character and as in the psychological journey he goes through in this movie. Yeah. So after, as in my critics were to think, right, the opinion of this movie, some of the performances of the three main people in the movie, Stallone, Krenner, and Dennehy, they said their performances were good, actually more than good,
Exceptionally good.
because you really find that you have an opinion on what these guys are like.
Even the person who did the score did a very awesome job.
Jerry Goldsmith.
Oh, did an awesome job.
And his score for this movie was very iconic, and I think it has been used in several other movies in the franchise, the sequels, the animation, right? So the success of this movie led to a franchise, the Rambo franchise. Obviously, kuna 4 sequels, co-written and starring Stallone. An animated series, like we said, there's a comic book series, there is a novelization series, and video games. And there is an upcoming prequel movie coming out next year.
Oh,
yeah, starring the actor Noah Centineo. Sijui kama umeona hii series ilikuwa inaitwa The Recruit ya Netflix.
sijaona Recruit, but now naona trailer yake.
Yeah, fans of The Recruit will know that dude. So hopefully he'll do a good job on the level of Stallone.
Anaactka Stallone sasa.
Anakaa Rambo, yeah. Yeah. In his younger days.
Hebu ngoja, anaactka Rambo ama anaactka venye Rambo aliact nini?
Yeah, he's taking on the role of John Rambo.
Serious?
Yes.
Because I saw another series where inaongea ni life ya Rambo sasa. Si life ya Sylvester Stallone. Bila alitengeneza the movie Rocky. How he suffered on nini?
Yeah, but obviously Rocky is another franchise that Stallone is famous for.
Sikuwa najua ni kuna movie ya nini na that one I never knew. I thought ni ya nini, hiyo ya sasa nika biopic ya Sylvester Stallone. Sawa. Strong of the difference.
But it was a biopic when he was making Rocky. Yeah, there are two different things. Yeah. So during development, this 1972 novel took 10 years to adapt into the film, because there were shifting options as a studio, right? Mambo ya financing, securing funding. Yeah. Then after going through several writers and directors, it was purchased by Columbia Pictures and then Warner Brothers. Final version of the script was written by now the current writers before Stallone. They purchased the script actually in 1977. It was purchased by somebody called Carter DeHaven for $375,000. Yo huku pesa mingi sana.
Pesa mob. At your time ilikuwa pesa mob.
And though that final version is the first version of the film where Rambo survived. All other versions, including the book, Rambo does not make it. So production nearly stalled for a bit, and then when it started up again, it was the rights were bought by these guys called Andrew Wagner and Mario Casar. After they read the novel, they bought the rights from Warner Brothers for the same amount, $375,000, and the script for $125,000 around 1981. Now the current director, when alikuwa involved with the project in 1976, was called by these guys, and that's when he offered Stallone the role. So Stallone, upon reading the script, he accepted the role. He's credited as the writer because I think alifanya several tweaks to dialogue.
Stallone is a mkali sana.
Yeah, see, I think his writing is what now got him the Rocky off the ground, and that's what launched his career. So during development, several actors were attached to the project or considered for the role of John Rambo, including Clint Eastwood, Al Pacino, Paul Newman, James Caan, Robert Redford, Burt Reynolds, Steve McQueen, all who were like leading men and action heroes during the 70s and 80s. Cap Douglas, by Michael Douglas, was considered for the role of Sam Trotman, but he had issues and disrupted the set. Alikuwa na ego issues.
Kaka alikuwa anasumbua, but alikuwa mega superstar. Hata nashanga but ni studio.
Yeah, but at some point pia alikuwa usikumbuka the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Siku hiyo langa bana naikumbuka.
Ile mental institution. He was supposed to do that role, but the role went to Jack Nicholson, and he was very upset that his son Michael Douglas was the producer in that movie. Yeah, so vile the director aliona this guy to not work with Kirk Douglas, akaita Richard Crenna, who flew out immediately, became now to do the role. Then the rest is history. I think all the roles had been now, the major roles had been secured. What were the standout scenes in this film for you, Jeff?
Mimi the best, hata Kitiano alikuwa anaitumia kitambo ka trailer yake kuonesha programs wako nazo. Ile pati helicopter. Bila alichukua mara akapiga ule mjamana. Akamkili na hilo kama best part. Yeah, it was the most memorable part. Alafu the next one wakimosha na maji. Hiyo ilikuwa mbaya.
Wakamsiga.
But it showed police brutality. Hiyo tabia pia ilikuwa Kenya, yani makara wa kitambo walikuwa wanyama.
Yeah. Na pia I think vile aliruka kwa mse akona courage, vile aliruka from the cliff to a tree.
So, alikuwa wale well trained, so ni ma specialist. Hata ule mbona so jina yake ule mjamaa wake ule nikaa alikuwa trainer wake kwa nasema mazee nyama jamaa mnataka more bodies kiona unajua ni nani huyu
Unajua jamani na
huyu jamaa nani bana. So another question, this was based after Vietnam War. Ilikuwa based after war.
When the writer wrote this, the writer of the novel, it was during the Vietnam War, so he's a Vietnam War veteran.
Oh
yeah.
Unajua, one thing I came to notice, Vietnam ilisugua America mpaka ma 80s. Kulikuwa na ma back and forth. Do you know what really happened? What really ended the war? Or America's? Do you can Nixon ama ni nani?
Nixon sasa alikuwa ameresign. Sasa resign
ama Eisenhower alikuwa amechukua ama
nani?
Sasa ndio Vietnam War iishe. Kuna mmoja wao kasi Nixon kasi Eisenhower ama alikuwa anaitwa nani?
Eisenhower.
Kasi Eisenhower kulikuwa na mwingine Johnson. I think Johnson alinegotiate na
Lyndon B. Johnson.
I think ndo negotiate na nini. Maybe I can be Tagogo too. I think I'll negotiate na Vietnam government wa release prisoners of war wa America. Hata hiyo war ilikuwa imefika dreadlock.
And it had very many critics. The casualties. Yeah. So I think the reason this movie hit was it resonated with a lot of people. All right. Yeah. So should we dive into the movie?
Tuchape Ben.
Yeah. Now, so the movie kicks off with when a Vietnam War veteran John Rambo visits the home of his old army buddy alikuwa anaitwa Delmar Barry, and he seems very excited to want to see his friend, but he's very disappointed, you can say heartbroken, when he learns that Delmar has died because of the effects of this thing called Agent Orange, exposure to Agent Orange. Agent Orange was herbicide fulani ilikuwa ina niniwa na it was being sprayed by, was it planes over the vegetation of Vietnam, ndio as in vegetation cover wasiwezi depend on vegetation cover, right? I think it was designed ndio mtu the enemies wasijifiche, something like that. Yeah, so I think this news disorients him. So when he's walking around, he encounters this sheriff called William Teasel. Now, this guy, the moment he sees Rambo, yani profile, yani assume that this guy, sijui mbona tu anakwanga hivyo, ile ukiangalia mtu hivi una decide haumpendi. So when he sees him, he tells him that that long hair and that jacket will bring you a lot of trouble around here. So when he tells him, he gives him a ride, tells him atampeleka at the edge of town, right? And Rambo just wants somewhere to eat. And then this guy tells him that you can eat 30 miles juu wapi. So Rambo, what is wrong with me eating here? So this sheriff decides to be blunt, tells him that you don't want your kind around here. So when he drops him off, anamwambia maybe ukishawa na unyoe nywele ati hautahasuliwa hivyo sana. Yani mi hata mi I was feeling like he was telling me as in wewe mtu akakujudge tu na akujui, anaanza kukwambia enda uoge, sio weka tu matusi tu.
Iko tu zile racist towns.
Probably ingekuwa somebody of a different color, kama if they're discriminating somebody who just because he has long hair.
Nijua ako aka American.
Hapana, si ako na jacket ya nini ya war.
Yo atambu police. Police wanakuwa na something against military men.
Yeah, but I think during this time, I feel that they were blaming the soldiers for participating in the Vietnam War. But these guys were just doing what they were told, right? But to some people who don't exactly understand what is going on, they will take out their frustrations and prejudices against the next person who is.
But kuna mlami fulani anaitwa Steve. America bado kuna hizo racist towns. Kwanza ukijua umetoka Afrika unafurahi sana, ndio unajua utarudi. Okay sana kwako. Lakini kuna towns zingine pia ukienda sheriff anakuzindikisha.
Funny enough hata
kwa memazenda ukule place nyingine.
Funny enough, by the way, in this whole town, I did not see even one person of color. Yeah. So, now, when Rambo is dropped off, anakana fikiri hapana, umsa ananibeba ujinga. So he starts walking back into town. So sheriff kwa vimira akiona umse haendi mali nimemwambia aende. So he turns back and tries to get him to leave, but Rambo now, feeling disrespected, he does not let him touch him. Right, so the guy threatens him with a gun, tells him, lean on the car, you're under arrest. So he ends up arresting him. So when they go to the station, we find even more mean people than this sheriff. The deputy called Gold, right? He's even more mean. Threaten baton when he's taking fingerprints.
So I think I told him start wakapata hiyo kisu.
Kwanza the sheriff alipata kisu while he was searching him before they came to the station.
That was a very key part.
Yeah, so when they're processing him, they abuse him, ile wanamchapa na baton, wanamtoa nguo, wanamhose down na jet nini, maji inatoka ni maji na jet, right? Na maji I think ikichapa mtu chapa mtu I think inakuanga na uchungu
bana. Kuna doing movie.
Yeah, but me imagine una spray wana hiyo maji ya zima moto ile na inakuchapa, hiyo force inatoka nayo
inakuua hata.
Probably if you're not strong enough to handle it.
Hawakutumia pressure mingi hapo. Juu maji. The safe na job da mafia fighters. Ndio nashikwa na wase wengi. Hiyo pressure utoa.
Yeah, so they hose him down and then wakimvalisha nguo sasa. Now they plan to shave him without any water or soap. So this abuse triggers Rambo, and he gets flashbacks of his time in Vietnam, where he was being tortured and abused by the locals in Vietnam.
Vietnam Kong.
Yeah. So he snaps and now subdues every one of those guys. And it is very satisfactory when he beats up his chief abuser, this Gold guy. But he ends up beating up every one of them before he escapes. Gets a motorcycle from a civilian. And then now these police now start chasing him with his motorcycle to the mountains, but they try to catch him, but he disappears into the woods. So yeah, juu obviously lakini before atoke alichukua ile kisu yake
lazima.
in fact that the sijui ni cooking industry ama nini ama the production of knives because of hiyo kisu yake ili increase because of this movie.
Dare niko na hiyo kisu.
Yeah, okay.
Alafu
Exactly, hiyo iko na macerated edges.
Alafu tena kulikuwa na nini tena? Kulikuwa na the plastic knife. Hiyo ya cutaway ya Rambo, unakumbuka? So pana Berikana ba. They had a lot of money.
Kumbuka. So that is a big fan of Rambo.
Hakuna mtu kwa fan wa Rambo.
Yeah. So to these guys, sheriff kwanza ndio anabaki akimchase initially. So his car ends up upside down in a creek, right? So he orders for resources to search for Rambo. That includes dogs and helicopter. So Rambo, juu obviously aliacha the jacket. Anapata some, was it? It's not a sheet. Some kind of
kagunia hivi.
Gunia
Hiyo ndo kairarua kai. Man.
Yeah, so doing survival tactics. So he says that he can find.
Movie classic.
Yeah. So now the dogs now they catch up to him, right? Because of their sense of smell, right? So wakati anafika to the edge of a cliff, he's cornered. He has nowhere to go. So his only choice is to now like descend the cliff pole pole. Because down below kuna maji na some rocks. But now the helicopter sasa spots him on the side of the cliff. And the guy in the helicopter now is this Gold. He's now vengeful, right? Amejam na Rambo, yani amechapa
Bane.
So I think he's crazy.
Kwa crazy
because unajua watu wale wanakasirika mpaka the common sense goes out the window. Because when Rambo initially like takes the motorcycle, he wants to shoot at him, but Sheriff anamwambia, hey boss, kuna civilians bana. If you shoot one of them, then what?
Kichwa yake kwa fiti.
So now that he has seen that he has cornered Rambo, he shoots at him. So Rambo makes a decision in order for him not to be killed when he's defenseless on the cliff. He decides to jump on a nearby tree. I think this scene is iconic, I believe.
Very, yeah.
So akitoka kwa mti anaenda chini, anagora na branches on his way down. So Gold directs the pilot to like go low. Ndio, yani he really intends to kill Rambo. So Rambo, to defend himself, he picks up a rock, throws it at the helicopter. It hits the windscreen, right? So this causes the pilot to lose control. So now it sends Gold falling to his death. So Rambo, I think, uses this opportunity to retake Gold's gun. But I think anakaa doesn't want any more troubled because the death of this guy, obviously, he did not mean for it to happen, right? So when he attempts to tell, so see the sheriff and the other deputies hapo juu kwa cliff, they see that Gold has died, and their immediate assumption is that Rambo has killed this guy. So when he attempts to surrender, akiwambia, hey, it wasn't my fault. They shoot at him, so he flees kwa woods. So when they pursue him, yani they quickly learn that he's forced to be reckoned with
Bana.
because he has used bushcraft. Set traps all around the woods.
Wadezoea woods bana.
Yani zao na ni woods zao.
Sasa ni makarao kutukuzana huku tu kwa barabara.
In fact, that one of the deputies, yani anadmire Rambo, yani when they hear that he's a war hero. But despite this information, the sheriff is intent on finding Rambo. He doesn't cancel the search. So after I may disable all these deputies, either he has strung them up or he has stabbed them, leaving them defenseless. He catches up to the sheriff. Anamwambia, hey boss, let this go ama nakupatia wo hautaamini. But this guy is proud, man. Yani anaona this guy is dangerous, but yani anataka kuprove that he wants to win.
Ndo king wa hiyo place. Ni racist tu.
So very soon news of this attracts involvement of National Guard na state police and the media. So and the arrival of Rambo's mentor, Colonel Sam Trotman.
Tukuna mwitanga trainer.
There is a mentor na commanding officer, right? So he arrive anaambia these guys, what the hell are you doing? Hata I'm surprised umse hakuwaua nyote, yani aliwarumia. Hata mpaka nasema in my opinion he slipped up
Bana.
juu ametrainiwa kuwa anybody who
Bana.
attacks him.
Na umetrainiwa vizuri, hawa kwangi jokes.
So so they in an attempt now to get Rambo to surrender, they ask Trotman to contact Rambo via the radio. So he I think ametrainiwa ati ukuwa radio silent to protect your position. But once he hears his Trotman on the radio, they have a rapport and a break radio silence. So Trotman tells him, hey, stand down. I will get you out of where you are without any bloodshed. Lakini Rambo yuko, hey, kungekuwa any trouble if he wasn't for that cop. Right? Because yani hata mi kiona all these years later, sielewi mbona yani aliamua tu this is the guy that he does not want in this town. Yani he had something to prove. Right? So he refuses Trotman's pleas for him to stand down and insist that they drew first blood. On the alianza chokozi. So now he breaking radio silence allows these guys to track him down where he is. So when they follow up the area Maliuko, they follow him to a mine right? So I think these guys, National Guard pia, they were not really competent because they exchange fire alafu with Rambo alafu the fire yao I think goes out, right? Out of ammo. So
walifanya kiufala.
so huyu commanding officer, these guys ataniambia hey, ebu endeni mwangalie wote wanaogopa right? Yeah, which brought them out as cowards, right? So they decided they'll use a bazooka and they fire the mine, but Nani I think gets away in time, Rambo. So you see mine he collapse. Hey, these guys celebrate. They think that they have
Umemmaliza.
wamemmaliza.
Watu walikuwa evil.
But initially alikuwa ameambiwa the sheriff alikuwa amesema he wants Rambo alive. Now these guys yani I think they are inexperienced in a way. Even vile walikuwa wajiconduct juu because vile wali collapse your mine with the bazooka, they start celebrating and taking pictures. But now saa hata the sheriff Tizol anasema yani huyu jamaa aliangushwa na watu hata si watu hatoshi unga
Bana.
right, but I think Trotman knows. I think akiangalia the area anashikanisha this he's not really dead, but yani wale watu wamjui wataassume tumemaliza huyu jamaa, but as we see Rambo survived. I think he makes his way out of there through the inaitwa shaft
Shaft.
mali anapitia. So he manages to like commandeer a military truck yenye iko na ammunition and goes back into town. So by this time nani washa soon they learn that Rambo is not really dead. They and they anaanza ku prepare for Rambo's arrival. So Rambo, when he arrives in town, he sets the thing on fire, the truck na ameiacha kwa gas station. The explosion in a trigger, you're setting it on fire triggers an explosion of all the cars and vehicles around the place.
Bana.
Na plus hiyo nini pia si hiyo gas station pia hiyo mafuta iko hapo ina cause explosion. So this causes the sheriff to alert civilians within that town to take cover, because he now knows, but this guy is dangerous, but still he wants to prove himself. So Rambo naye anaingia kwa gun store, ana detonate hizo explosives zote ziko kwa hiyo gun store. And at first nikiona kwa hii rewatch nilikuwa shida mbona wanaonyesha akifanya hizi vitu zote, kumbe sasa I think that explosion ilikuwa ndio ajue position ya huyu nani mali yuko huyu sheriff yeah, si ali end up to the roof to take cover. So when he lands where the sheriff's position is, he shoots power lines right around the place and you apate advantage ya darkness. So when he goes into the station, he shoots up the place and then manages to get the guy in the leg. si alikuwa huko juu alafu kuna some kind of inaitwa skylight. So the guy falls through the skylight, and when Rambo is about to execute him, he is taught by the colonel Trotman, who pleads with him. Was it pleading or he demands that he stand down?
Sort of ilikuwa mixer but alidemand wewe kwa commander.
So but the guy is very adamant because then he's disillusioned with the treatment he has received since he came home from the war. Watu I think wanamistreat, and he ends up breaking down akikumbuka vile his friend in the war was blown up by somebody they thought was innocent
Bana.
huko Vietnam. I think sijui kuna kitu alipewa, ilikuwa sijui ni some box of something.
Those guys walikuwa vita, hiyo climate ilianza kuwachizisha. They started killing each other. Americans don't talk about that.
The Americans ama Vietnamese?
Americans, they started killing each other. Wako wenye platoon iko naongea ukweli. Hiyo weather ilikuja ku affect drugs because they abused a lot of drugs pia huko.
To suppress the trauma.
The trauma, In fact, platoon was hated. The military never liked it. America kitambo ilikuwa wataka kuonyesha. They wanted to show
the movie.
The movie was hated, They wanted to show the world one is supreme. But America in the platoon show the world yani not too normal. Hii movie ilitoka the same year na Platoon ama?
The Platoon came out in 86.
86. But sasa ndio ilianza kuonyesha pia the humans. Kuna commando hapo. So anda paka alikuwa analia.
Yani the trauma has caught up to him. The trauma of the time and yani the treatment. Yani he's a very lonely person. Yani all his friends are dead. Right? He has nobody to connect with. The civilians are treating him like trash. So we understand what he has gone through, right? I actually my heart broke for him. Vilali discover he's the last friend. Yani he thought they would help him like live normally. Is dead. And so Rambo, he agrees to surrender and brought into federal custody with Trotman by his side. And then I think he shares a look with the sheriff akiwa kwa ambulance before he walks off. Yeah, so this movie is still a good movie, and I think probably it is a model for action movies that make you care about the character. I think they do not they understand the point of an action movie. As in, even action movies have stories, and the characters have to make it work.
Kweli?
So the fact that they gave us a reason to like sympathize with Rambo made us root for him in this movie, right? So let's look at the themes in the movie. Let's start with PTSD. We have seen Rambo experience that PTSD from the very start of the movie, which explodes when it is treated by those officers, the deputies. The fact that the society in Amwisha, they have no use for him, despite him fighting for them in Vietnam. And we see that Rambo is fighting memories of his time during the war. And as Sheriff, I think, can present the ungrateful attitude from
No.
the citizens.
Mi naona tu alikuwa tu racist. Kwanza tema mambo tu anyo hiyo nywele. Alikuwa tu racist. Yani wanataka watu wanakaa kwa tauni yao.
Yeah, but it's about the skin color, not somebody's appearance.
Walikuwa najua mjamaa maybe si fully American. So hiyo town yao inakaa zile town zile za KK.
Lakini wale watu walikuwa na fight kwa war, kwani walikuwa people of a different skin color.
Unajua pia kwa hiyo war ukiangalia platoon vizuri kulikuwa na sort of racism. Yeah. Kwanza ile part ule black alichukuliwa akacrucify wale ma Vietnam Cog walimstick kwa nini? Kwa mti. Alafu ulikuwa unaona tu ma blacks kazi yao tu ni be. Yani job yao ilikuwa tu uko mbele.
But this guy is white.
And white, lakini Italians pia walikuanga pia ukiangalia tu Italians pia walikuanga pia discriminated. America not Italians walikuwa hood moja na ma blacks. Partly.
And Italians themselves are racist.
Racist.
Yeah. So
msee ndio deputy hii kuchukia Stallone hii ilikuwa tu hakuwa na kwanza story ya nywele hakuwa anataka the foreigners kwa hiyo town yao. Yani hivyo ndio mimi interpret wilo na mara ya pili.
Yeah. So have we seen cases of retired soldiers receiving the same treatment huku Kenya?
Sijaiona. Nimesikia lakini sijaiona.
Yeah, sadly, okay, my uncle who died I didn't get to learn this because my uncle died in 2009. So I don't know. I didn't get to hear stories of what happens over there. He was a soldier. Yeah, sijui mtu mwingine mwenye anaweza tupatia a recount of the experiences over there and when they come back, right? But do we celebrate our heroes because they are useful and not because they're human beings kama hiyo?
Hiyo ni ngumu. I think hiyo ni personal ni ya mtu. Personal choice. Mimi naweza celebrate na mtu mwingine celebrate. Hii dunia watu ni selfish. Maybe msee akataka Rambo akuje kwa city yao. Maybe alikuwa anaona mjamaa akikuja huko. Maybe anaweza leta watu wanakakae wakuje kustay huko. Na huko tunataka nini?
Which is exactly what he said when he was ati tukiallow watu kama wewe, very soon watu kama nyinyi watakuja.
That was so racist. Hata nimekumbuka. That was so racist.
Yeah, so
ni mtu white ka wewe. Sasa imagine kwa mtu black. Lakini kuna towns zingine I've been told by a lot of white people. Kuna towns na ma blacks na kwa minority states. Kuna towns zinanga black.
Yeah, so there is abuse of authority, of which we saw from the very first time this sheriff meets Rambo. He assumes Rambo is dangerous because of the way he looks. So he mentions that his long hair and his jacket. And instead of de-escalating the situation, he harasses Rambo simply because that he has told him to get out of town and he has not gotten out of town. Then he uses his authority to detain him right? And when he takes him to the station, we see the kind of abuse he endures. They humiliate him by taking off his clothes, wanamwosha ni kama ni mnyama. Hata si unakumbuka hata before amhandover alimwambia make sure you clean him up because he smells like an animal. You know? And I think I've experienced, me personally, I've experienced a situation like this when I was in Form 3. Ile nimetoka Ocha, alafu nikishuka tu hivi some guy approaches me ati anaanza kuniambia ati mlikuwa mnafikiria ati mkitoroka ati tutakupata. So mimi nashinda, what the hell is this guy talking about? So very slowly I learn he's a plainclothes police officer. So ati he arrests me. Mi namwambia hey, mi ni student. So his reason is that kama ni student iko wapi student ID yako? So nashindwa this was during the holiday. So unashindwa ni student mgani atatembea na student ID during the holidays?
Bana. Nilikuwa umevaa uniform.
Sikuwa nimevaa uniform, si nilikuwa nimevaa nini? Casual clothes. It is the holiday.
Hivyo ndio ukivaa koniota hao.
Yeah, so because ati hawana handcuffs ati wanatufunganisha shati na another dude. Tunatembea mpaka Kamkunji police station. Alafu hiyo place yani vile ilikuwa inanuka.
Wow, nishaenda huko pia, tushaenda ndio huko.
So they suggest that ati if we want to not to sleep in the cell, ni ati kila mtu atoe so mbili. Luckily I had the 200, nilitoa mbio after juu tukaandika majina mahali. But from that time I think I didn't trust police because that is abuse of authority, as in you don't have evidence that I've taken something.
Si tulitoa thao na tulikuwa na Msioki, tulidandiwa tu tao tu hivyo.
Yeah, so hiyo ati mtu anakuja na kuprofile ana assume you fit a profile of somebody who can steal. It's very unfair
bana.
So imagine sasa ningekuwa na madredi. See, I think police huku wakitana mtu ati ako na dredi, they assume that he is a thug. Yeah. So let's go to pride. I think pride is a very bad thing, especially in a situation you don't understand. This sheriff, because now he arrested this guy because of his appearance, and when the guy fights back, now the whole movie, he spends the whole movie trying to prove that he wants to win against somebody who he felt was a threat to the town. But he became a threat to the town because of his prejudice against this guy. Alafu, despite hearing that umse ni war hero, yuko hapana, sitaki kujua. It's a shame. Where in your life, how much has your pride cost you?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, a lot.
Ile despite ile aibu potentially unge face, ama uliface hiyo aibu because you did not to back down.
Yeah. Mara mob sana. Incidents ni mingi.
Yeah, so yeah.
Incident ni mob.
I think pride is a very...
Pride na ego. There's even cost.
Yeah, it's a very costly emotion, I believe.
I think na pia najaribu, it's not easy. Kama ni react ingasa zingine naja mingi sana na trying to think.
Yeah, there's no need to like escalate things. Ama you let something go because it is not worth any.
Ka ingekuwa last year, clients wangu ningeongelesha vibaya sana. Hao madem ningeongelesha vibaya. Lakini nikatini niko na tu hata tu nifikirie tu rethink tu. Hakuna do ban two bridges, nimeban bridges mingi sana. So saa zingine una take it like it is, but ni uchungu.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think as we mature or we have matured, we make calculations what is worth it and what is not.
Saa zingine unaweza kasirika. Unaweza kasirika mbaya sana lose it. So na trying nisifike hapo. Yeah.
So there is isolation, and Rambo is very disillusioned that everyone he knows from the war is gone. The war ended a few years before, I believe, but his loneliness yani linamkula sana. Now, the fact that he's being treated as a stranger in his own country doesn't make things better. That's what escalates now this thing, the whole the events of the movie. We ushaenda mali uka feel yani like an outsider. Any the people in that place, any they make you feel like an outsider. They don't make you feel welcome.
That place is big, yeah.
What do you relate that to? What made what do you think made them treat you like an outsider?
Kuna del kolmeda wedding nyama Ethiopiano. Kuna shootia video. But the way the older, the young guys walikuwa fiti na mimi, but the way the older guys walikuwa na act towards me ilikuwa inafanya na kwa so uncomfortable. Waniangalia hata nikiwapiga picha walikuwa na sifai kuwa hapo.
Na unakuwa the same feeling, maybe tuseme okay, haujazoea kwenda Ocha, unakuwa unapatanga the same reception ukienda Ocha?
Ocha si sana. Acha nifungue tu roho. Mtasa zingine nikiendanga mtu anakuangalia design nyingine inanihitingi sana. Kwanza time kuna bash na sikuchangia hiyo do. Hiyo kitu ni hit mbaya sana, mui feel. So pia sitakangi kuwa na vitu za relatives, sitakangi kuwa na vitu yani tu una feel. Kuna venye unaweza enda mahali tu watu wabonge naye unadotoa asa wakutaki hapa. Sasa ni unafeeling sana na familia sana. Kwanza iko ni event siku changia pesa. Hiyo ni hard sana jo. Sitakangi kuenda. In fact siku hizi sitakuwa naenda event sijachangia pesa. Acha ikae.
Yeah, it's very hurtful when some of these things happen from family and not from strangers.
Any two events sijatoa do acha ikae, siwezi enda.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, so now let's discuss Rambo. Would you say he was a victim or a criminal?
Alikuwa victim.
But he also the things he did were criminal.
Ilibidi alikuwa pushed to the wall to do those things.
So basically, let's say he was both.
Kuambia Ben, unajua pia ni mnyama. Unajua kuna mahali msee anaweza kukupush utafanya vitu mbaya sana utashangaa.
But that depends on how nini imepile up, imekuwa ikipile up over the years.
Juu hao sasa vitu walimdoa ikuwa poa. He had to wangemuua bana. So mimi namuelewa, but vitu alifanya zilikuwa criminal. Sasa alishikwa mwisho ama umesahau. Wakamtinga alafu ati kunitunda wakakuja kuachiliwa. Tu sasa zile so alikuwa jela tu by the way. Hiyo place walikuwa wanajenga.
I think so.
Hiyo ilikuwa jela. Juu jela hata majuu hata Kenya. Jailmates do for constructions. Wanachukua the strongest one.
So I think that was constructive incarceration, as in sidhani probably hakufanya hii kazi, hakuteswa or something. Maybe I think he was detained in a place where soldiers are respected. Tukiona part 2 tutajua.
Lakini buda pia alikuwa badass. Unajua ukienda nani ulikuwa badass uliwe makarao kuko na respect. Uogopwa. Nimeona hizo nini za jela. Kuna watu huwezi mess nao. Kaa huyu jamaa kwa itosijua Onyancha.
Onyancha.
Watu jela wakifanya makosa wanathreateniwa. Utaenda kulala seli moja na Onyancha. Behave.
Yeah. Would you give the sheriff any sympathy?
Siwezi.
He was an asshole.
That was too much hate. And he was a very good actor.
Yeah, for you to now despise what he did, he's a very good actor. So, at what point does self-defense become revenge? Do you say Rambo was avenging or he was defending himself?
He was defending himself. All I said, they wanted to kill him.
Especially that deputy.
They wanted to kill him. Yani, they wanted to show sisi ndo tunarun hii town. Sisi ndo the law hii town.
Yeah, as I think the arrival of Rambo yani brought out the worst parts of themselves. Yeah. Will today's social media have changed this story?
Ingechange. Lakini singeuza pia. So this movie was good. Ingeuza.
Ungesema, let's say such a similar incident happens. Let's say maybe hapa Doni. Who will that turn out the hero? Who will turn out the villain?
Funny thing with Kenya, Kenya public, hata Kenya police, wana respecting jeshi.
Okay.
So inge happen. Jeshi tu like turn out the hero.
So could the conflict have ended if either of the two people had swallowed their pride?
Kwanza tu Rambo akikubali tu kutoka tu hiyo town, yani John. Akikubali tu kutoka hiyo town vile alizidikishwa. Hakungekuwa na hii movie. Hiyo conflict ingekuwa. Hiyo kitu kurudi kwa town alikuwa kuonyesha mse. Do you know who I am? Unajua mimi ni nani?
Yeah, but I think the fact that he already had that internal intrinsic feeling of mbona watu wananitreat kama mi ni takataka, mi ni mnyama, right? I just want to live a peaceful life. So vile mtu yani alivoka, unajua probably before this point watu alikuwa napata those looks, lakini sheriff alivocalize yani the fact that ya boss hatudai history yako. So I think it sent him over the edge. Akasema hakuna mtu anaweza niambia ati siwezi fanya kitu of which is very innocent. I just want to eat. So who will you say was the villain? Okay, it depends on whoever sees this movie. Where probably ndio utakuwa na opinion. the all of you out there. So there are people who will see Rambo as the villain.
Sijui sasa hapo.
And I believe definitely there are people who will see the sheriff as the villain.
Kwangu sheriff ni the villain.
Nah, the deputies.
Ndo sawazi.
Okay, there is also another perspective that is probably like subconscious. The Vietnam War, will you say it's a villain in this scenario? The scenario of this movie or any war?
Vietnam was the most hated war. It was the most politically hated war in America. And I think it had 3 presidents. Hey, was it Kennedy? Was it Nixon? Not Nixon.
Kennedy was
Eisenhower.
dead long before this.
But wanasema ilianza na yeye. Ikipitia 3. Wanasema ilianza na Kennedy,
In the
ikapitia
60s.
Johnson, kabla akufe. So politically, hiyo war ilianza kitambo nani bro. Hiyo war ilianza even earlier 60s. Ilikuwa political. Vietnam ilikuwa colonized na French kwanza. Wakachapa French, alafu sasa nini wakaingia Soviets. Sasa hiyo ilikuwa the early days of hii Cold War.
Okay.
So I think I may be wrong, lakini ilipitia presidents watatu. Na economically ilikuwa inafagia Americans.
Okay.
So unaona mpaka makarao,
That's why they decided to get involved.
presidents zao nini inaitwaje taxes. Hata makarao ilipitiwa katwe do J war. It was a very expensive war.
So that kukatwa do in Makarao. So is it indeed? Does this movie show that they are taking it out on the war by how the sheriff was treating Rambo?
Kabisa. Alafu naona ni foreigner. Kulikuwa na laws wakisema tunawakata taxes tunategemea foreigners. Yani pesa yenu inafaa tuna maintain foreigners. Unajua? So hiyo pia hata saizi America hizi towns ndogo ndogo hawapendi foreigners. Any movie iko tu America vijiko up to now. Kuna towns ukienda mazu utaprofiliwa vibaya sana.
So the Vietnam War is a villain in the background.
Yes, catalyst ya hii hate.
What about society?
Ndio society ndio imekosio. Society America ni capitalist bana. Wewe unafikiria mtu capitalist anafikiria vizuri, wewe unakula taxes zake. Unaishi free kwa nchi yake. Alafu tena wewe ni jeshi. Mlifanya tukatwe do juu nyinyi mnapigana huko Vietnam. Alafu wewe ni foreigner. Obviously to bring hate. Alafu ni karo mjinga.
Sana.
Nikatoa ma tribalist. Usigote to the elections utaona. Wakupeka kwa police.
Yeah, so that's a shame.
Patikana uko the wrong tribe na ama karao kwanza wazai. Unajua wazee ndio wanakuanga na chuki. Vijana wanaanga chuki. Ati movie uliona. Wapata wewe uko the wrong side of the government. Utakipata.
Well. Now, so how would you rate the story of this movie in 5 stars?
Ni 10 over 10. Movie kwa kali sana.
But out of 5 stars, unazipatia stars ngapi?
I mean, ipatia 5.
5 stars. What about the action?
It was top notch. Movie ilikuwa kali sana, everything.
The justified action, see, just aimless.
Movie ilikuwa kali sana.
And the acting?
Top notch. Nazina wadizi watu wa activo. Sijui ni mbaya. Ama imekuwa too commercial. Acting. Watu wa activo. Watu waini kwa woods. States ina mamiti. States is very green. Nada nishtuka.
Yeah, but you see that of the acting here was more physical, right? And less dialogue, right? Which that is what acting is about. I think huku Kenya, you blame on especially if it is a producer. they think that ati ukipeana ati dialogue sijui witty or whatever, that is more important than you actually having lines.
Producers wa Kenya wengi wametoka National Theatre, so bado akili zao ziko kwa stage play, hazijaingia screenplay. In fact ifai kuitwa script, inafaa kuitwa screenplay. Script ni ya stage, lakini hao tutasema tunatafuta script writer than screenwriters, unajua, so bado hajatoka. So hiyo ndio the main problem. But siku hizi wana try. Wasi siku hizi wana try.
It has improved, but yani it needs to be better. As in, yani, unajua kwanza mimi when I'm watching a movie, I usually watch for facial expressions. Or when they deliver a line, or when they have no lines, as in, is it authentic? Kuna watu yani wataku yani their physicality, their expressions don't match their lines, right? Which drives me crazy because yani even ndio najuanga you can differentiate between good acting and bad acting. So what is the relevance of this story to Kenya?
Ni tu police brutality tu. Just shows police brutality.
Yeah, we have experienced a lot of that, and our police, a couple of them, they're very trigger happy. They find that they want to find a reason to pull the trigger.
Ndivyo kudandiwa tu hivyo tu bore. Hujadu kitu yote lakini umeshikwa tu. Hiyo ndio mbaya.
Which makes having an ID all that more important, right? Because ukipatikana, especially approaching election, ukipatikana una ID, that is an excuse for somebody to mistreat you, right? So, what will you say is your final verdict about First Blood?
It was just a good movie, and it was just ilikuwa tuonyesha tu yani tu vile hate inaweza amount kwa kitu ingine kubwa sana.
I think this movie is remembered for creating a vulnerable hero, though, and made him unstoppable, right? Would you say the sequels overshadow the original movie?
Kila movie ilikuanga na strong point yake.
Jimmy, if I remember well, let me watch and see if I have that feeling. But I think I loved the part 2.
Part 2, the one which you
Part
went,
3,
the one you want to save the soldiers.
the prisoners of war.
Yeah, iliona later. That one I saw it in high school. Imagine.
High school.
Hey.
In
primary,
I think I had rewatched part 2 and 3 several times, and I love them every time.
2 niliona nikiwa high school form 2. Anytime ilikuja KTN, tukiwa primary, my mama akatuambia tuende tukalale. But
Because of the violence.
Late. So there's zile kuja Sunday.
Kwa zaleta usiku.
Muziki kuja Sunday bana. Alafu inakatwa katikati ndio wasome news
Commercial.
KTN jo. Kifika 9 sasa ni news sasa. Alafu after news sasa ndio mnarudi
Ndio baadaye I think wakakuwa wanaleta some movie after this without interruption.
jo.
But I think upon watching this movie, I think I saw it as more as a character study than an action movie. A study character about somebody who has faced trauma. Alafu akirudi society, he's alienated by the people who don't appreciate what he went through to like help them during the war. they destroying their lives in the process, but then when they come back, they're not appreciated. And I think he got an emotional depth all these years later. So I think we have said what we learned from this movie, right? Yeah. So in conclusion, I would say this movie was the story of a man who didn't want a war. He wanted to escape the war, not only physically but in his mind. But
Had to come home to fight another war at home.
even the kama ulisikia hiyo that theme song ikiisha, I think it touches on the story of what Rambo was facing, right? At the war is brought to your front door
Bye.
when you come home. And vengo initially nilikuwa nimesema ati Stallone's brother ndio alimba this that theme song. Turns out it was wrong. It's not him.
But the second one,
The second one, yes, but a different song altogether. Yeah, the one who sang the theme song for this movie was Dan Hill. It was called Dan Hill. So I think the movie was about refusing to see another person's people refusing to see another person's humanity, and when they had all like concluded that he was a villain, right? Which is very unfair. I don't think any of us wants to be judged for something that we are not, right? Which is a very, like Bilumasema, is very hurtful. Yeah. So we have come to the end of the episode discussing First Blood Rambo. I'm sure the millennials and some Gen X's appreciate this movie and what it probably meant something in your childhood, and upon watching it today, probably it means something different or the same thing. You tell me. So next, we'll come back with a TV show as usual. It will be a different format because we are covering our first anthology series, Black Mirror. Yeah, so how we will do it, we'll see, right? So guys, thank you very much for being with us. If you want to support us, you can make contributions to 0724 941 375. Also subscribe and hit the notification button, right? And hopefully we'll continue giving you more of these films that resonate with you, right? We don't just pick anything, right? We are trying to make us as Kenyans better through these movies. So thank you very much, and see you next time.
see you next time, Ben.
Peace.
Not on our show. Peace.
Yeah.